Every single morning, millions of people wake up with a knot in their stomach knowing they have to spend the next 10 hours in a place they despise. They tell themselves it is just a temporary phase, but 10 years slip away in the blink of an eye while they chase promotions that never bring real satisfaction. You realized early on that if you did not break the cycle right now at age 25, you would wake up decades later full of bitter regret. That terrifying realization became the exact spark that finally pushed you to walk away from the illusion of corporate security forever. Hit subscribe right now and drop a comment below to join this journey. Handing over that resignation letter felt like stepping off a high cliff without knowing if a net would catch you underneath. Your bank account was dangerously thin, and the quiet judgment from family members weighed heavily on your shoulders every single day. Most people stay in miserable jobs simply because the fear of the unknown is far greater than the pain of their current reality. But you knew that true growth only begins the exact moment you willingly step outside of your comfort zone and burn the escape routes. That raw desperation forced your brain to look at the modern economy through a completely different lens. You quickly discovered that working harder at a traditional job would never make you wealthy because time is strictly limited. The secret of the financially free is decoupling the money they make from the physical hours they put into daily labor. If your income stops the second you stop working, you do not actually own a business. You just own a very demanding job. Shifting from an employee mindset to an asset builder mindset requires redesigning how value is created, delivered, and scaled digitally. That fundamental mental shift is the hidden bridge that separates the average worker from the modern independent millionaire. Chasing random trends, you spent weeks analyzing where everyday businesses were bleeding money due to inefficient manual processes and outdated workflows. You pinpointed a massive headache that local service providers faced constantly, which cost them dozens of potential clients every single month. They desperately needed a solution, but they were far too busy running their daily operations to fix it themselves. That gap in the market was your golden ticket, and you decided to build a simple, repeatable digital system to solve it seamlessly. You did not need fancy office space or massive venture capital. You just needed an obsession with solving a real problem. You spent 14-hour days designing a streamlined digital pipeline that automated 70% of their client acquisition bottleneck without human intervention. When you showed the prototype to a local business owner, their eyes lit up because it instantly saved them both time and thousands of dollars. Within 1 week of testing your system, their inbound leads doubled, proving that your concept was a legitimate high-value asset. That moment completely shattered your remaining doubts and replaced them with an electric surge of absolute confidence in your ability to execute. You realized that anyone who can solve a painful market problem efficiently will never have to worry about money again. Scaling that initial success meant turning your custom solution into a productized service with crystal clear pricing and zero friction for the buyer. You built a minimalist landing page that explained the exact transformation your system provided, removing all guesswork for prospective clients. Within 48 hours of going live, a notification pinged on your phone indicating that a complete stranger had paid in full. Seeing that digital transaction clear without you having to pitch, haggle, or trade hours felt like absolute financial alchemy. It was proof positive that your automated cash flow machine was officially alive, breathing, and operating independently of your physical presence. By month 3, that single digital system was consistently out-earning your old corporate salary while demanding only a fraction of your weekly attention. Your former coworkers were still stuck in morning rush hour traffic, complaining about Monday mornings while you enjoyed coffee in absolute peace. You finally understood that true wealth is not about flashy cars or expensive watches designed to impress people you do not even like. True wealth is waking up every single day with total ownership over your schedule and complete freedom of your time. The cash flow machine was running smoothly, but you knew that building long-term resilience required looking ahead at the next strategic move. Then the inevitable market shift happened, when a major platform update threatened to disrupt your primary source of inbound organic traffic overnight. Panic tried to creep in as daily leads dropped sharply, testing the structural integrity of the business model you had worked so hard to build. Most beginners would have panicked and given up, assuming the venture was dead because of an external factor they could not control. But because you had anticipated volatility, you had already quietly built a secondary referral loop and email nurture sequence as a safety net. That preparation saved your operation from disaster and taught you the ultimate lesson in modern entrepreneurial survival. That near miss forced you to bulletproof your entire system, turning a fragile income stream into an unbreakable financial ecosystem capable of weathering any storm. Your days were no longer spent grinding away at manual tasks, but rather orchestrating how different digital levers worked together harmoniously. Friends who once doubted your sanity now started calling you for advice, asking how you managed to escape the rat race so effortlessly. You watched them look at your life with the same quiet awe you once reserved for the financially independent strangers online. The journey was no longer an uncertain experiment. It was a proven reality that you engineered from scratch. To expand your footprint further, you began studying advanced psychological triggers that turn casual website visitors into fiercely loyal, paying brand advocates. You realized that people do not buy products or services. They buy a better version of their future selves. By embedding storytelling elements into your automated email sequences, your conversion rates jumped by an astonishing 40% within just 1 month. This unexpected breakthrough transformed a simple lead generation tool into a self-sustaining marketing ecosystem that required almost zero manual maintenance. Watching revenue flow in while you explored new creative interests felt like living inside a surreal, beautifully scripted movie. Yet, with this newfound abundance came a subtle psychological trap that caught you completely off guard during your 4th month of operation. When money stops being a daily stressor, it is dangerously easy to fall into complacency and slow down your execution speed. You noticed your daily output dropping as comfort started replacing the sharp, hungry drive that fueled your initial escape from the cubicle. Recognizing this invisible danger before it stalled your momentum required setting aggressive new milestones that kept your competitive fire burning brightly. Complacency is the silent killer of early entrepreneurial success, and you refused to let comfort destroy what you built. You channeled that renewed energy into launching a second distinct automated revenue stream targeting an entirely different niche market overseas. Diversifying your income sources meant that a local economic downturn or platform shift would never threaten your financial stability again. Building this second asset took half the time of the first because you could reuse the foundational frameworks you already mastered. Seeing multiple distinct digital systems generate profit simultaneously proved that financial independence is not luck. It is a repeatable science. You were no longer just a freelancer surviving month to month. You were managing a portfolio of digital assets. The hardest part of this entire journey was never the technical setup or finding the right market gap to exploit. It was unlearning everything the traditional education system taught you about what makes a secure, respectable career path. Society conditions us from childhood to trade our most precious years for a gold watch and a modest pension at the end. Breaking that mental conditioning requires a complete psychological rebirth where you stop viewing money as a scarce resource to hoard. Instead, you start viewing it as a tool that flows toward whoever solves problems efficiently at scale. As you watch your automated systems handle operations while you enjoy a quiet afternoon, a profound sense of clarity finally settles into your mind. You realize that the 25-year-old version of yourself who sat in that gray cubicle did not take a reckless gamble. That version of you simply bet on the only asset that truly mattered: your own relentless capacity to figure things out.
The corporate world will always need cogs for its massive machine, but you chose to become the architect of your own destiny. The cash flow system is running, the freedom is real, and the next chapter is entirely yours to write. Looking back at that freezing morning when you signed your resignation letter, the entire journey feels like stepping out of a long, hypnotic dream. You did not escape the corporate world by getting lucky or relying on a massive trust fund. You escaped by refusing compliance. Building a cash flow system at 25 was never really about the money itself. It was about buying back your ultimate freedom. Drop a comment below and let me know what single change would give you the most freedom in your own life today.